watching Singapore Business Review. Join us in the next few minutes as we talk about the e-commerce landscape in Singapore and what it means for brick and mortar retail. On the line is Pablo Chalion, General Manager for Southeast Asia at VTEX. Welcome, Pablo.
Hello, thank you so much for the kind invite. It's a pleasure to be here with you today, Chess.
We're glad to have you here today, Pablo. So, to give our viewers some context, can you take us through the current e commerce landscape and what VTEX does in relation to this?
Sure. E-commerce has been changing substantially over the past couple months because of the health crisis we've had across the globe. So today the landscape is very different from what we have been used to as a consumer for the past couple years. We see, for instance, now that 80% of the 40 million are online shoppers here in Southeast Asia. This is a significant increase over the past couple of years, and we see this as a large opportunity because we have detected, for instance, in Singapore, that almost 97% of the total population is in digital service consumer, which means that brands more often are uh, mandate, mandated to be present online to be able to serve this growing base of consumers. From BTEX, what we do, we are a SaaS e-commerce platform. VTEX was founded 20 years ago, was born in Brazil, and has a large footprint now today in Europe, Latin America, US, and now also in Asia, with an office recently opened in Sydney as well. We went public last year of July 2021 in New York Stock Exchange. And what VTEX offers is a SaaS platform for any B2B, B2C marketplace, retailer, enterprise level corporation that wishes to go online. Um, the main difference from VTEX from other SaaS platforms is that we bring in three different type of products into one single roof. We have the e-commerce engine, which enables any B2B and B2C transaction. We have a marketplace connector, which enables our customers to be able to sell their products also through other marketplaces. But now here's what makes us different. We can help through our native marketplace engine our customers to become a marketplace as well. So we have the infrastructure because we are a multi-tenant platform that enables them to create their own marketplaces. And finally, we have a native order management system, which we're helping now brands to have a more omni-channel experience by allowing them to split orders and split payments across their supply chain fulfillment network in their e-commerce operation.
We've also heard about the hyper growth of e commerce that is paradoxically spurring a decline
Yes,
in many retailers' profit margins. What can you say about this?
yes. So this brings me back to March 2020, in which the world changed in just a couple of days and weeks. And many um, retailers, many of our customers had to shut down their physical stores because consumers were not able to go in back to the offline channels and make a purchase. So we saw a big increase in the e-commerce adoption, both from a retailer perspective as well as a consumer perspective. What this has caused is that you went or brands were going online, but we're not really thinking, or we're not really at this stage considering what this meant for their P&L. So now everyone's fighting for consumers to be able to purchase products and have them delivered as soon as possible. Everyone's fighting for consumer loyalty. Everyone's trying to get consumers to come back and repurchase again. So this is causing that the online channel is dropping in the profitability. and how can we get them to see e-commerce not as a growth engine, but also as a profitable engine. And we see this in a couple of studies as well. McKinsey, for instance, that they see that most of the e-commerce stores has been growing substantially, but not their profits, right? And this has many factors. One is that in 2020, brands were just desperate to go online to get part of the share that they were having in revenues from the offline channel online. This was very unlikely, and this desperation caused that you were not connecting different systems. You were not connecting your WMS, you were not connecting your ERP, you were not connecting your CRM. So we had a lot of improvisation or a lot of implementations done, not thinking about how does this e-commerce store connects with what currently have in my current tech stack. We also see that there has been quite a tight supply chain. This has caused prices to go up. Now we have some fuel challenges, fuel prices challenges that also cause that the delivery costs to go up. So, and not to mention the inflation as well, and the never-ending increasing competitiveness of getting consumers to come back to your store. So now you are subsidizing some shipping, or you're doing a lot of promotion, a lot of heavy discounting. So this all adds up. And for this, there are many alternatives right now available in the market, and available for you as a brand on how to make this profitable. You need to start thinking about how can you leverage from your offline channel. How can you centralize or unify your products, your promotions? How can you unify your payment options across your channels? How can you bring in additional sales channels into what you currently have, that every single channel works integrated with one and another? There is a big challenge, but nonetheless, it's very exciting for what comes afterwards, because it's no longer just going on and having an e-commerce store. It's now, how can I make this connected with what I currently have? And there is quite use cases and customers that have been quite successful in doing this.
Mhm. It's also believed that the omni-channel experience is the future of retail and not e-commerce alone. Can you share whether this is true or not?
Uh, it's way far from being true. We at VTEX have seen this with many customers. That, for instance, we had many customers in 2020 that they were not able to use their e-commerce, their physical stores. So what did they do? They didn't go completely online. They actually used their physical stores to become a dark store, a decentralized fulfillment hub. So physical stores are not dead. On the opposite side, you see many companies investing heavily in the logistics and the physical presence. And you see this maybe as not as large formats, not a big stores. You see this as maybe smaller formats, concept stores, or maybe distributed fulfillment centers that are also acting as a physical store. Why? Because, just talking about the previous point, right? About how do you make your e-commerce operation or your retail operation profitable? It's because you want to be able to serve as many consumers as possible. We in VTEX see that you must have a technology stack that allows you to serve different type of customer personas. Those that wishes to buy online, those that wishes to search for information online and buy offline, those that go offline but wants to use that same type of promotion offline in their online store. So this is necessary, not to see this as a complete um, experience. But let me define what does it mean by being experience.
Yes, please.
It means that whenever you go to a physical store and you see a price or a promotion, you can have the same type of price and promotion regardless of where you interact with the brand. Um, I'll give you a personal example. This morning, I made a purchase online, and in this brand, unfortunately, I can only access certain type of payment methods online. But if I go to their physical store, I cannot. So, but on the fortunate side, they have multiple ways of delivering the product. And one of these ways is pick up in store. So in my personal case, and this is a good practice, is that you allow customers to use ideally the payment method they wish, regardless of the channel, but also you're helping your P&L because now you're not subsidizing the shipping costs, but I actually decided to go into the physical store and pick up the product. Why? Because I want the product faster. And for me, going to the store that is just around the corner is faster for me than waiting for the shipping to come at home, which will take a couple days, for instance. And for the company, for the brand, this means part of the um, uh, their balance, their P&L that they will have to cover that cost. So having a very um, having a omni-channel strategy in the brand that allows you a lot of flexibility, allows you to give your customers the possibility to decide how they want to pay, having access to the same type of products, same promotions, same type of payments, and deciding how they want to receive the product helps you actually reduce and optimize your profits rather than just eroding what you have rightly won as customer loyalty, which is so hard to find nowadays.
So, you mentioned earlier that brick and mortar retail or physical stores are not yet dead. So, will we still be able to say the same thing in the next 3 to 5 years?
Uh, it's interesting, right? We're talking about channels, and I really doubt that you'll be able to say that physical stores, maybe as we know it, will definitely be different, but the physical presence will not. You'll still need to become closer to the consumer. And let me give you an example. If you think about human beings, what do they want? It's just a very general question, but it's very leading to how you can make or produce your own services and products. People want affordable or cheap products. They want them fast, and they want to be able to get them easy. So if we stick with this type of guiding principles of what consumers want, they want cheap, fast, easy to buy. I don't see how you can replace the concept of physical stores with something else. Of course, there'll be drones, there'll be live shopping, there'll be the delivery that we know, but the concept of wanting to go to a physical store, you, we can argue maybe the size will be different, maybe the decoration, the concept will be different, but just going to a physical store will be still there. And it could be just very an automated experience in which you go in, they already identify you by cameras, biometrics. They'll be able to understand what you want. You might want to return the product, so it's very easy to return the product, or you might want to pick up a product, might be very easy, but you will still need to go to a physical location. There is the challenge, though, that retailers, they shouldn't be discouraging customers to not go to the physical location. Actually, they should be encouraging. Okay, maybe you don't have a physical store, right? How can you partner up with someone else, maybe cross category, that can actually that has a physical store, and you can partner up to pick up products, to return products, or to ship products from there. An interesting alternative, going back to the profits, is that if you're selling a product that doesn't have high margins, you should start thinking about which other categories you have available that has higher margins. Or maybe think about what other your own brands, you can do your own line of products that gives you higher margins, and you add this into your assortment. Or think about how can you incentivize consumers to go to your store to return the product, to pick up a product instead of covering the cost of the shipping. or having to cover the cost of a product the chances are they might want to return. Instead, give them a discount or a promotion or a coupon or an incentive for them to come and return the product into the physical store. At the end, yes, you still have to cover some costs, but it won't be as expensive as if the customer or the consumer had to go and do the whole um, flow of returning a product from their home. I do, and again, to answer your question, physical stores will continue to exist, but definitely not under the same format that they exist today.
Mhm. Now, let me go back to digital. The digital
Yes.
economy that we now live in moves fast, and the future of retail must be built on an infrastructure that is composable. So, what are your
Yes.
thoughts about this? What's composable commerce, and why is this called a key to saving retailers' profit margins?
Yes, this is something that in VTEX we strongly believe in, and it's become quite a buzzword. But we've been in VTEX continuously heading our product towards this way about composable commerce. So, in plain English, and easy concept to understand is that essentially all SaaS platforms or all SaaS products, they sell a standard product for everyone. And as I've mentioned, we are a SaaS platform, right? So we're giving a exact same product to every consumer. Now, the twist in this is that we understood composable as one size doesn't fit all. So I cannot go and buy tennis shoes size 10 because that doesn't fit me. And maybe it doesn't fit my next consumer. And they want to have it in color blue, color red, and they need some personalization. But personalization is very expensive as well. So what we did in VTEX is that we have a developer low code layer. And in this low code layer, our customers can do two things. One, they can decide what to use and what not to use. And two, they can personalize what they decide to use and they can create their own specific components or applications on our platform. This is hosted in our infrastructure. This is managed by our team together with a customer, but essentially gives the customer this additional percentage of flexibility. So now, yes, we are a SaaS platform, but we have this what we call in VTEX, VTEX IO developer platform that allows our customers additional flexibility. The reason behind this, and it's proven by the market, for instance, Gartner, which is an industry analyst company, predicts that by 2023, 80% of the companies that adopt composable commerce will be ahead of the competition. 80%. And this is as easy as adopting a platform such as VTEX, and which gives you this additional layer for you to develop. For instance, you say, I wish to have a special application that allows me to interact with the fulfillment center, or allows me to connect with the logistics company that is about to deliver the product, or or helps me as a operator to have this application that I can manage my return products or maybe my in-store experience. You can develop this in-house, or also you can connect this with other third-party best-of-breed applications. So you become modular, you become a train. You're not longer one wagon. Now you are endless wagons, allow you to be very very narrow on what you want to work on rather than having to invest in the whole train. This optimizes definitely your P&L, your margins. You won't have to invest heavily in creating full stack applications to cover one specific need. You will also be able to give more offering. And this is important because in VTEX, we believe about customer personas, customer buyers. You want your technology stack to be able to personalize, to be able to meet your specific customer needs. Something that I like to mention is that in VTEX, we came out from Latin America, a emerging developing market. which is where we are very used to interacting with multi-currency, multi-language, multi-cultures. It's very similar with Southeast Asia as well. In Southeast Asia, we see in VTEX there's multi-currencies, multi-language, multi-cultures, and makes our platform a great fit because it allows our customers here in Asia to be able to make decisions on a store level. One example, by using composable commerce, is that one store can have specific payment methods, specific payment options, or specific logistics partners completely different from a different store, or a specific promotion, or a specific price list from a different store. This allows a higher level of personalization, which will definitely benefit retailers and brands that want to use something more adaptable to these specific geographies they're operating in. So we see composable commerce in VTEX as a great way of having an additional edge from the competition. You're not longer having a standard product. You're not longer having the same tools as your competitors. Now you have in VTEX a different platform that can give you this additional edge on personalization.
Thank you for the detailed explanation, Pablo. Before we end this discussion, let me ask this question. What are
Sure.
you expecting to see in the e-commerce landscape in the next 3 to 5 years? Do you expect it to stay the same or will it be changing?
I think it's exciting on what's happening right now on live shopping. And I'm expecting live shopping to continue to evolve heavily. This is very exciting because in VTEX, we have developed through our composable layer a live shopping app, and more retailers are using live shopping. Um, I see that the web store will change. The web store will remain, but the interface will change. How consumers search for products, how consumers interact with the brand, how consumers purchase the products. It could be through a search bar, it could be through live shopping, it could be through conversational commerce. That really excites me, and that is what I encourage all of our customers here in Asia, in VTEX, to use these features, to use these capabilities that we're continuously building and evolving in order for them to leverage as much as possible and be able to target as many customer personas, as many type of customers that they wish to use this type of sales channels for them to place their order.
Looks like the future is looking bright. Thank you so much for joining us today, Pablo.
Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure being today with you.
Again, that was Pablo Chalion, General Manager for Southeast Asia at VTEX. For more business news, visit sbr.com.sg where you can find articles, interviews, and event updates. This is Sas de Malanta reporting for Singapore Business Review.